Canada 2016. You were also Miss International Canada 2022, placing in the top 8 at Miss International. And obviously, you are Miss Universe Canada 2023, where I got the opportunity to actually watch you win that crown. So well deserved, so amazing, incredible, performance. Um, you totally were outstanding that evening. So that's the reason why you're here. You're
Oh,
here. You're
thank
here
you.
today. You're here representing the
Yeah,
True North, strong and free, good old Canada. And I have a couple of questions I want to ask you.
yeah.
All right. So the first thing is, tell us about your journey to the Miss Universe Canada crown.
Absolutely. So when I first did my very first pageant, I was 16 years old. It was a small little local pageant in Northern Ontario. And when I first got into it, it was a big change for me. I grew up in a very northern town. Pageantry, modeling, the super feminine side of a woman wasn't really
Right.
something that I had been exposed to. I kind of came out of left field to my family. I was like, hey, I want to do this pageant stuff. Are you guys going to support me? And my family was like, what the heck? Where is this even coming from? So from the get go, I really pursued it with so much excitement, endearment, curiosity. I wanted to explore this kind of world that I had never been exposed to before. And from then, I was exposed to the world of Miss Universe. So when I did my very first pageant, I dreamt that, one day I'm going to go to Miss Universe. I'm going to be Miss Universe Canada, and that is my goal. That is the number one pageant for me, and that's what I want to do. So kind of every pageant from there on out was kind of accumulation of experience and next steps to get me to that level that I knew that I needed to be to properly represent Canada in the capacity that I knew that I could reach. And it's just been nothing but a chaotic, crazy, amazing journey. And I'm so grateful to be here at Miss Universe. I still have to pinch myself every day that I'm not just at Miss Universe Canada anymore. I am the representative for Canada at Miss Universe. And that in and of itself is an
That's
incredible
funny.
accomplishment.
I followed your journey this entire time. We only just met in August in person, which was crazy. But as you know, I've been supporting you ever since the very first pageant, top model of the world or top model of Canada, right?
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing this girl and the way, your evolution from that point to now has been incredible. Um,
Oh, it's nuts. If I look back at the girl who won Miss Intercontinental Canada and went to Sri Lanka for Miss Intercontinental, wow, the evolution is insane. The completely different woman, even compared to me competing at Miss International last year. The growth that you experience being in pageantry is so fast paced in the most miraculous way possible. You are just so intensely learning about yourself, your impact, how you want to grow as a person, how you want to present yourself. There's so much evolution and
Right.
growth
No,
that
I
I get to
totally get
experience.
that. And the thing is, someone like you who's competed in different systems, you kind of have to adapt every single time because every single organization looks for a specific type, right? So when you're at Miss Intercontinental, I honestly, I love the pageant, but I don't know what their purpose is. It seems very
Yeah,
entertaining. It's like an
I can totally
entertaining
agree with
pageant.
that.
It's really fun to watch. The caliber of beauty is amazing. International is very conservative. You're very well put together and like more, you're not more sexy. It's more like I'm a conservative, like well put together woman, right? So that was a different pageant. And then Miss Universe, because there's been so much changes over the last especially 10 years, you're still trying to kind of find your footing on that pageant stage. And because this is going to be the first official year outside of the IMG era under JKN Global, um, we don't know what they're looking for again, right? So yeah, all I can tell you
Absolutely.
right now is you are putting your best foot forward for Canada. I don't really care what pageant fans think. Like, I read all the comments. I'm a pageant fan myself, but every single opinion is objective and subjective, and you just really need to like do you. Like that's the most important thing, and we've had our
100%.
little exchanges and stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, there's concerns, and at the end of the day, you are representing Canada, but you're also representing yourself, and you've been doing a beautiful job. All right.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much for that. And I so resonate with the idea that each pageant has their own kind of overarching values. And I feel like going to Miss International, because Miss International chose me. I competed at Miss Universe Canada. I was the first runner up, and then I was awarded to be Miss International Canada, go to Miss International. And it allowed me the opportunity to explore not a new version,
Right.
but a more elegant side of myself. And it allowed me to embrace my adaptability as a queen. I can be an extremely elegant, poised, and conservative queen, but I can also be the super sexy, the fun, the glamorous, the very loud personality that is a bit more on the side of Miss Universe. So I feel like that's really important as a queen. You need to be able to show that you are versatile, that you can fit in different means, you can appease different sponsors. It's all about showcasing that your ability to fit in and fit that mold,
Exactly.
whatever
No,
it may
very well
be.
said. Clearly the reason why you're there right now. All right. So my second question for you is tell us about your platform or advocacy and what are your plans to promote it should you become Miss Universe 2023?
Absolutely. So my advocacy is all over my socials, but my advocacy is all around the world of body confidence and eating disorder awareness. I've been heavy in this realm for over a decade now, and it's because I struggled in my youth with a very severe eating disorder, and I took that pain and I turned it into my power because coming from a smaller town, there aren't very many resources or education around struggling with eating disorders or body confidence or even just
Right.
self-care and self-love in general. So I took it upon myself to really help empower our youth to develop those skills. And with the growing world of social media, it's so important to be able to work with social media, understand that there's a lot of edited imagery online. We need to create these safe spaces in our social media realm to enforce and instill more positive mental health and mental well-being and all that. So I created the Body Love Club, and I have been doing my workshops and seminars teaching youth those really, really important critical skills to love and develop a healthy relationship with exercise. You know, exercise is more than just working out to look good.
Right.
There's so many holistic benefits, and a lot of people are unaware of that. And there's a lot of isms in the world of the health and wellness world and the world of exercise
Right.
that if there's ageism. Older people feel like they don't belong in the gym because it's not, they're out of their prime, they don't belong. But health is important on all bodies. Taking care of our bodies is important for all body shape sizes. So for me, if I get the opportunity to be Miss Universe, I want to continue to do my workshops and seminars.
Right.
That's a forever goal. I will never stop doing my advocacy in that. But I also really want to start working with the government and our school systems. I think it's really important for us to be actually integrating wellness into classrooms, teaching them body confidence, teaching them those really important mental health skills to take care of themselves or skills when they're facing, you know, lack of body confidence, lack of self-awareness, lack of self-love. It's really, really important because
Right.
if we don't have a strong foundation as a person, how can we make greater change in the world? So I want to continue with that, and I want to continue working with a series of health awareness brands because I feel like a lot of brands or athletic companies are slowly but surely moving
Right.
in the direction of embracing all body types. But we need to continue to push that all brands are accepting of all bodies. My athletic company, Skill Athletics, we sell minibands, but right now we're in the production process of creating one of the most size inclusive athleisure wear lines. And there aren't enough brands like that out there that are embracing all bodies, creating clothing that makes all bodies feel good. So there's so much more work that we can do in the body confidence space. And I'm just so excited to be a spearhead in that movement. And I want to continue to shine light that your body is truly the least interesting part of you. There's so much more that makes someone beautiful with that inner light, that inner joy,
No,
that
that's
makes someone really,
absolutely
really
correct. You
beautiful.
know, um, I'm pretty sure you know this about me. I'm also in the fitness industry. I was named one of
Yeah.
Canada's top fitness instructors. So I'm really, really big on enforcing a healthy, positive lifestyle. And with the pandemic within the last 3 years, it kind of caused commotion on like unrealistic, social media, because we all know that social media
Absolutely.
is either you put out what you want to put out there, and a lot of the images that we put out are usually highly edited, airbrushed, whatnot. And sometimes it just takes a really, really strong person that's confident in themselves to really, really execute that platform. So everything that you have just spoken about is the perfect, representative of that advocacy. So very proud of you. Good, good. I didn't even actually know that much about your
Thank
platform.
you.
Obviously, I'm in the pageant
Yeah.
scene somewhat. I do have a presence there, but when it comes to actually learning individual, contestants' platforms, it becomes overwhelming because you have to learn more than just one person, right? Um, so I'm
Yeah.
really happy that you were able to share that entire platform with us. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
I'm like, good job. I'm,
Thank you.
I'm I'm kind of in awe of
Yeah.
you because I'm thinking that I'm a judge in the panel right now, and the
Oh,
way you're communicating is just like boom, right into my face. I love it.
10, 10
Love
out
it.
of
Love it.
10.
Okay, so next we have some fun questions. So tell us about your Miss Universe experience so far and what's it like in El Salvador.
Yeah. I feel like the best way to describe
Okay.
pageantry is selective chaos. We choose to be in this crazy wild journey, and we know it's going to be crazy and wild, and we're not going to be sleeping lots, but you have to remind yourself to stay so present, enjoy every moment, enjoy the networking. When are you ever in a room with 90 some of the most empowered women and representatives of their
Right.
countries all over the world in one room? That in and of itself is such a beautiful moment of an empowerment, inspiration, and it just pushes me to want to work so much harder to make Canada a better place, showcase the beauty of Canada, showcase to other people, and learn about other countries, and why I should go
Right.
there and explore their cultures. So it's been I've just been smiling ear to ear in awe of everything. This whole experience has been so fantastic. And here in El Salvador, everyone has been so kind, so welcoming, so loving, even though there is a bit of a language barrier. My Spanish, un poquito, is very little, but, even with that, people are still so generous, so kind. We go out to events and there's crowds and crowds and crowds. And it's crazy because you can understand
Right.
in Canada, pageantry isn't that big. A lot of the times we're actually defending pageantry because people in Canada just don't understand that it has evolved into this beautiful platform of women doing incredible things in their communities and
Right.
in the country and globally at large. So it just reminds me about how impactful pageantry is, and it just makes me want to push harder to showcase the beauty of Canada and bring back all of
Right.
this
Right. Right.
beauty back to Canada.
It's funny because what a lot of people don't realize is that Canada was the first pageant system. The Miss Universe Canada pageant was the first system to allow transgender women to compete. And a lot of people don't actually
Yeah,
know that. They remember Jenna Telekova as the spearhead of that movement. And so Canada is pretty forward when it comes to pageantry. It's just very unfortunate that sometimes it's just looked at in a different light, right? When we go to the United States, because I've been to
absolutely.
the Miss USA pageant like 4 times, it's huge there, right? It's a major business. They have
Yeah,
sponsors like wanting to sponsor each contestant at the state level, which is so crazy, right? And here we
yeah,
are when you're trying to compete for a pageant. It's like, hi, can I get some
yeah.
sponsorship, please? They're like, no, next time. It's like, yeah, right. So
For
you're absolutely correct when it comes to pageantry in Canada. Also, I wanted to kind of touch on the similarities between Canada and El Salvador. Why don't you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, I think El Salvador is equally as beautifully diverse. There's so much here. There's so many different cultures of representation. I think that's one of my favorite things about Canada is that you get to experience pretty much the world in one country. So it's really nice to see that that same effect is also here in El Salvador. But
Right.
again, I think the biggest thing is that friendly nature. That's one of my favorite things about being Canadian, is that we're notorious for being overtly kind and nice and bubbly, and that same energy is here too. So I have just been loving that, and I've been very fortunate in the activities that have been chosen while being here in El Salvador. I've been very outdoorsy, adventurous in nature. So I have loved that because I'm a big nature girly. I love to be doing anything outdoorsy, and especially anything on the water. So I got to go surfing while I was here, which was incredible. We got to do a bit of hiking. We've gotten to do lots of outdoorsy stuff. So the little Canadian girl in me has been so excited to just explore all that
Amazing.
nature has to
Are
offer
you
here.
planning on staying a little bit longer after the pageant? Depending, right?
I'll be staying. Yeah, it depends. But my
Amazing.
family is coming to the show, which I'm very, very excited about. I told my family to save their money instead of going to Vancouver because, as
Right.
you know, flying in Canada is very expensive. So I told them to save their money, and in hopes that we would get the opportunity to go to El Salvador. If not, we'd save for a big family trip altogether. But yeah, so I won nationals by myself. None of my family was there, unfortunately, but now I get to bring them here to El Salvador, and we're gonna stay a couple days after and explore and
That's
see how much
fun,
fun
like
that would be
total
for us.
family vacation. Super cute.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Ready for some more questions? All right. Okay,
Yes,
so
let's do
who
it.
is your favorite Miss Universe title holder?
Oh, it has to be Natalie Gabova. She is such an inspiration. She's been a coach of mine for the last 2 years. She is just so humble and
Right.
present and intentional. I feel that when you meet her in person, she gives everyone the same time of day. It doesn't matter who you are, if you're at the top, at the bottom, in the middle, it doesn't matter. She gives you so much love and light, and that I appreciate so much because sometimes when you're in the
Right.
world of pageantry, people look at you a little bit different, and she's just a straight shooter. She loves everyone the same level, and I think that's so important as a Miss Universe, to remain humble, to know that you're impacting so many lives, and to really embrace that opportunity to be an inspiration and to treat everyone with love and kindness. So I absolutely love her, and I'm so fortunate to have
Yeah,
her
no,
in my
she's
journey to Miss
amazing.
Universe now.
I could agree with you. She's probably one of my favorites as well. Bias aside. I have to say
But
that, right?
yeah,
Obviously.
obviously bias
You know,
aside that she's the last Miss Universe Canada, but
yes.
I think genuinely though
I
she's
completely agree.
insane.
When she was here in August, I met her, and people were surrounded by her, like, or yeah, they were surrounding her, not surrounded by her. What am I saying? They were surrounding her, and I introduced myself as the pageant spotlight, and she basically said, "Give me a minute." She took me aside, took me outside to actually have a quiet conversation with me to get to know me, right? And that alone, like coming from somebody at that status, she's obviously a famous celebrity in pageantry for us, right? So the fact that she did that
Yeah,
was very, very like relatable, personable, and you know completely what you just said. Like she's just so genuine and so caring. So that's good. Like I can definitely see some of
absolutely.
the characteristics that she kind of presented at Miss Universe in you now. So you've been trained well.
Yes. No, and I think you said a key word there that I
Right.
think is so important, the relatability. That's one thing that I've really had emphasis emphasis on
Right.
going to Miss Universe is I want to be a relatable queen. I want people to look up to me and think I can do that. I can be that in that spot too. I can achieve the goals and dreams that she has too. I don't want people to look up at me and be like, "Oh my goodness, that's impossible. She's an impossible human. She's way too like she's got it all going and I can never be like that." I don't want to be like that. I want people to look at me and be inspired. I want people to look at me as an aspirational goal, not an anomaly. So I think the relatability is so important when you're at this kind of a competition and in these kind of positions of
Oh, for
power.
sure. And you know what? I have to tell you, like, and I'm not just like buttering you up or anything, but I quite often meet pageant girls, right? And a lot of them will DM me and they'll be super nice on DMs. And then when you meet them, they like completely ignore you, right? And I've been in that position many, many
Yeah.
times. And I don't take myself seriously as a blogger. I know that I'm very well spoken and I can interview a whole bunch of different people and really, really immerse myself into the pageant world. But I'm really there for support. You know, I'm there to support as many, you know, contestants that compete in pageantry because it's a difficult place to be. Number one, you choose to put yourself out there to be
Yes.
scrutinized by the public, and the public is not nice. You know, I'm pretty sure you
Ooh.
understand this. Like people, you know, will compare, and I've been doing these little Insta stories, right? And for the most part, most of my followers are very, very like supportive and genuine, which is the reason why I like doing the pageants coverage because I can remove the people. It's a very little percentage. But you said the key word. You handle yourself no matter what circumstance it is. It's you could get negativity thrown at you, but you're still so kind. Right? I see that. Right? And you have to be
Yeah.
because
You have
those people
to.
don't know. They judge according to face value and bias. And unfortunately, pageantry is big on that. But the good thing is, queens like yourself know how to navigate being professional and still giving your haters the time of day. Because then you prove them wrong, right? And that's I think what you've been doing ever
100%.
since winning Miss International Canada, right? So you are a perfect example of a humble queen and very relatable and somebody that is easy to
Absolutely.
talk to. Like I wouldn't be afraid to approach you because you don't give off that vibe. You give off a vibe that's like, come here, let's take a picture, let's talk, right? So that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes. Definitely. And I think one really amazing piece of advice I was told when I was a young girl was the only opinion in life that matters is the one that you have of yourself. Other
Right.
people's opinion is their problem. It has nothing to do with you. If you know that you're a good person, you're doing good, you're approaching everything in life with a kind heart, you have nothing to worry about. You just let the white noise be white noise and you focus on your goals and you do
100%.
you, and that's the
We
most
don't live our
important.
lives for everyone else. We live them for ourselves. Exactly. Do you have a lot of time? Can I
Yes.
ask you a few more questions? Okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to take you
absolutely,
away from
absolutely.
winning that crown, girl.
No, you're
All
so
right.
good.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more serious. Let's shift. What do you think, aside
Okay.
from your platform, is the most relevant topic today? And that's anything that's happening in the world when it comes to, you know, self-confidence. Like, what do you think is the most relevant topic right now?
Honestly, I'd have to say embracing diversity. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that we get
Okay.
exposed to a lot in Canada. You know, there's a lot of hate in the world right now. There's a lot of negativity. We're experiencing wars
100%.
on multiple sides of the world. And we need to embrace difference. We need to set aside hate and desires for power, and we need to focus on the true importance of loving one another and building each other up. There's so many horrible situations and lives are being lost, and we need to focus
Right.
on that. Diversity is quite literally our greatest power, and being Canadian, we see that day to day, that diversity is our strength as a country. So we need more people to kind of take a note from Canada's book that we have to embrace our differences and love each other. And imagine how much more beautiful the world would be if
Right.
we put aside our differences and just loved one another. It would make the world quite literally a better place. So I think that's one of the most important things that we really, really need to be focusing on, because it's 2023. We shouldn't be in fear of war. We shouldn't be in fear
Right.
of just living our unapologetic lives. We need to be embracing everyone at all stages of life. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your background is. You should love a person for that person. Anything else doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I think we need to be really pushing that narrative a lot more, because unfortunately we're still stuck in a time where people don't
Very
What do you
true,
got
and
there?
I agree with you. I do feel like there are a lot of old school generations that continue to, teach their kids what they've learned, and unfortunately, it's kind of a vicious cycle of power and like, kind of discrimination. But you're right. Like if everybody kind of embraced each other for their differences and their similarities, the world would be a much better place, right? World peace, cliche as it is,
Uh,
complete world peace,
yeah,
right?
as cliche, as cliche, as cliche as it is, we still need to talk about it because there's still so much hate in the world. We still aren't at a place where peace has been achieved, and we need to continue to talk about it. Like any platform or advocacy, we need to keep talking about it because without talking about it, change is never going to happen. We have to keep pushing for a
No,
better
you're
world
right,
for
and yeah,
everyone.
well said. Great, great, great. Okay, so let's steer off of the serious conversation for a bit because that can get heavy. Um, Tell me some fun facts about yourself.
Yeah, so I think one really fun fact about me is I love to cook, but most importantly, I love to build charcuterie boards.
Yeah.
So random, but every year for Christmas, that's my contribution to the Christmas dinner is the most extravagant charcuterie boards. I think it's so fun, and I'm a very artistic person, so I go all out on my boards. I make little roses with the meats and all that jazz, and it's just super fun. And since moving to Manitoulin Island,
Okay.
because I grew up in Sudbury, so Sudbury's a little bit of a bigger city, closer to Toronto, but I recently moved to Manitoulin, which is a tiny, tiny town. There's probably about 3,000 people that live on the island and maybe 900 in the tiny town that I'm at. And there's
Oh,
only one restaurant in
that's
town,
amazing.
and it's only open in the summer, and it's a
Okay.
fish and chip shop. So I have learned how to be the most amazing cook ever to create anything if I'm craving anything. So yeah, just I think one really fun fact about me is I love to cook. I love cooking. I love eating food. I'm a big foodie, and just anything in the world of food is
Okay.
kind of a safe space for
So
me.
you
So
are
yeah.
invited to a Miss Universe, I guess, within this week. You're responsible for providing a lunch for the girls. A huge charcuterie board of goodies. Tell me what you put on it and why you're putting that on that
Yeah,
board for these girls.
absolutely. Oh, my go-tos are you always gotta have a little bit of prosciutto, one of the best cuts of fun, fancy meat. Um, what else would I
Okay.
do? Definitely lots of fruit. I'm a big fruit girl. I love fruit. So strawberries, blueberries, grapes, the whole nine yards. And then, ooh, what else would I put? I think the last most iconic would have to
Okay.
be a big thing of brie. I love putting brie with maybe a jam of some sort or some white honey, something super sweet to balance the saltiness of the cheese. But yeah, I love to just be super creative. I was actually pinning a Pinterest inspo for the charcuterie board that I want to do for Christmas when I go home. And I actually found this way to do a Christmas
Oh,
tree
that's totally
charcuterie board.
cute.
How fun! So so random, but yeah, food
Right.
is kind of my love language, I guess. So if I ever make you food, it's because I love you and I want to showcase that. So that's, I guess,
That's
something super
sweet.
fun about me.
I actually made a fun fact. Well, wait a second. Woo!
Yeah, sorry.
Save those lives. um,
Yeah.
Last Christmas, I actually made a charcuterie board, and it was the Christmas tree one. I'll send you a picture. It was really, really easy to make. You just
Fun.
basically shape it into a Christmas tree, and then you add garland and like grapes for like the ornaments, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, yeah, I'll send you a picture.
How
But that's really
fun.
cute. Yeah, don't worry.
You know what?
We'll
Yes.
make this happen.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness. um, but one thing that's been really interesting about being here in El Salvador, because
Right?
obviously El Salvador is going through a lot of change right now. and they came from a history of violence and being labeled as an unsafe country. But we have been so well protected as Universe Girls here in El Salvador. We have full-blown
Amazing. Wow.
military around the hotel. We have police escorts everywhere we go. We have had so much security. It's been so safe. And honestly, I wouldn't even question that it wouldn't be unsafe because everyone's so nice around here. But we have been so well protected, and that's been one thing that's definitely made it so amazing. And reminding my parents, hey, this country is amazing. You're gonna have so much fun. Don't stress. It's super safe. El Salvador is really changing and
Right. No.
changing for
You
nothing
know
but the
what?
better.
I honestly like because we don't live in these countries, we never know. And sometimes the media just fully like
Yeah,
blows it out of proportion, right? So I know certain places, like
100%.
for example, South Africa. I have some friends here. I hear in the news that South Africa can be really, really dangerous. But then I talk to a couple of my friends here, and they're like, "No, it's not dangerous.
Yeah,
Like you just have to be smart. Like anywhere in the world, you just don't go
yeah,
out too crazy at night in like rural areas where there's no one around, right? Like every single country, like good old Vancouver,
exactly.
just down the street, there was somebody that was like killed or like stabbed to death at a Starbucks. Like it happens everywhere,
Yeah,
right? Like it doesn't
danger
matter.
is
But that's good.
everywhere.
It's a good
Yes,
tidbit.
it is.
I've heard about El Salvador being dangerous, but I've also heard some really, really good things about El Salvador too. So you never know, right? So I'm glad that you guys are safe and you guys are enjoying
Exactly.
your stay. Great.
Yes,
Um,
100%.
okay, a couple more. What is your favorite part of pageantry? So aside that from what you've already mentioned, what is your actual favorite part? What brings you to come back for more?
Absolutely. I can't not say the girls. Uh, honestly, I've met some of
You
my
are just so
yes.
popular right now.
I know. I'm like, I got a whole party behind me. I can't not say the girls because I've met some of my absolute best friends in the entire world through pageantry. And in pageantry, you meet so many like minded women. And especially coming from a smaller town that didn't really embrace pageantry, and I felt a little bit like an outsider because of my interest in pageantry. It's the most amazing moment to finally be around a group of women that understand why we're doing what we're doing and getting inspiration from them and their advocacies and the work that they're doing to make me want to be a better person. And especially at the international level, my bucket list of travel places keeps growing exponentially because I want to go
Great.
everywhere to meet my new girlfriends all over the place. So yeah, I would definitely say outside of, the amazing parts of exploring your advocacies and interviews, probably one of my favorite parts of the competition side of things, and the travel when you get to the international level is so much fun. But deep down, I think the sisterhood has to be the most incredible part. We're all going through this crazy journey together, and that really bonds you
Right.
in
No,
an
that's great.
incredible way.
And a lot of people that are fans that don't know what pageantry is like, they all have this kind of, you know, ideal of like what it's all about. There's cat fights and, people stepping on each other's dresses. And I know that happens. That's not a lie, right? But at the same time, I do understand that there's a lot of lifelong friendships that are made in pageantry. And yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, like-minded individuals that come in there with the same type of purpose, you obviously are going to meld well together, right? There's that one common ground where everybody
exactly.
has, that shares that point of view. So that's excellent. Um,
Yeah.
if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be and why?
I think the one thing that I would have to, that I'm working on, I would say, is I have to be less critical about myself. I'm a big perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect. And if it's a minuscule bit off, I get so harsh on myself. But you have to remind yourself that we're all our own worst critics. And sometimes you just need to tell that voice in the back of your head to chill out, that you're doing good, you're trying your best. And sometimes that's all that matters, you know? We have to embrace those little moments in the day, those little successes, because those little successes add up to the big picture of everything. And I just, yeah, I'm still working on it, but I definitely think it would be to be a little bit less critical and less focused on everything being perfect, because at the end of the day, everything does truly happen for a reason. I am a big believer of that. And I just have to embrace that there is a greater plan in store, and I just have to go forward with a good heart, solid intention, and a drive to make a good difference. And I think that's
No,
the
that's
most
good.
important.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably a common answer. I'm not saying that just because, but most people, I'm not saying that. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously, like even me, whenever I answer like a
yeah,
question, whenever I'm interviewed for any type of like, what can you do better, or what obviously it's being less critical of yourself, because we're all there to make an impact, and sometimes we always just want to be like, we always overthink that could I have done better, and then you'll like get obsessed with it, right?
yeah,
Like obvious. Yeah, no, I completely
yeah,
see that, right? You probably, and I can now picture it now that you've said that. I can totally picture you looking at your performances and being like, oh, if I had walked a different way, I could have probably made more of an impact, right? So no, I get it, completely get that. What do you think you could do to kind of like ignore that? Like, what do you think you can do better to make yourself avoid being so self-critical?
yeah. I think one of the biggest things is one, uh, for me, I guess the way I like to control that is one. I like to whenever I go into a pageant, I like to think prep so
Right.
hard that you don't have to use your brain. So do all the hard work before so that you can stay present and enjoy the moment. So I think it's one important to prepare, but it's also important to just again be present, embrace the moment. It's nothing in life is to be perfect. If
Right.
everything was perfect, life would be so boring. So you have to embrace that there are lessons in those mistakes. There are lessons in all the negative bits of our journey, and it adds up to our beautiful story and book of our life tale. So I think just, yeah, having that internal reflection that it's okay.
Right.
Nothing is going to be perfect. That's okay. Don't stress. There's no point of stressing. Stressing is going to get you nowhere. I think it's just more so a mental game of reminding myself that, it's all going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. You just need to work hard and trust your gut and surround yourself around good, positive influences that will help you in your goals, and you'll help them in theirs. And just staying focused and not stressed. Avoiding
Well, you
stress at
said it
all
earlier
costs.
in the conversation. You basically said, trust the process. You said something else. Oh my gosh. It was just in my head and then it just flew out. Um, it will come back. Okay, so some more fun stuff. Okay, so can you share a little bit of what your national costume is going to be like? Okay,
Yes, of course. So, as much as I would love to have released photos of my national
right.
costume, because I didn't have a lot of time from winning Miss Universe Canada to coming here in El Salvador,
Oh, wow.
it was created in Nicaragua and was shipped from Nicaragua to here in El Salvador. So I have no photos of anything, so I can't release that.
Okay.
But it is very Canada. It's all about all about one of the main themes of
Okay.
Canada, I guess. I don't want to quite give it away
Right.
because I want there to be a little bit of a wow factor, but it's a more extravagant, intentional version of what I presented at Miss Universe Canada. And I am very excited to have spearheaded this, I guess, idea into Miss Universe, because I think this is one of the most beautiful things about Canada, and it needs to be emphasized
Perfect.
a lot more, especially in current
Perfect.
times. So,
That's
yeah, as a little
exciting.
teaser.
And how are you like feeling at this moment? The prelims are on Wednesday, right? So, oh, Tuesday, tomorrow. See,
Tuesday, tomorrow. No, no, no. Tomorrow is, sorry. Tomorrow's
okay.
interview, but then the next day
Clearly,
is
I
the
don't see.
prelims. So, yes.
But
Well,
you see,
getting
I,
ahead of
I
myself.
clearly am not on top of things either. Okay, so Wednesday is the prelim. Okay, so Madison, at this
Yes.
moment, what is the feeling going into, and be honest, I want you to be candid with your fans and like with us,
Yeah.
aside from like reading what's on social media and like, you know, the support that you have from your family, the organization, how are you feeling at this very moment going into prelims?
I'm I'm just so excited. You know, Canada is always overlooked in pageantry.
Right.
So in that sense, it's nice because I don't have pressure. We're not a hot pick country, but it makes me so much more excited to showcase that I am worthy of being a hot pick, that I am worthy of this journey and this, I guess, job of being Miss Universe and this glorified job application that Miss Universe is. And I'm just, I got nerves, of course, but it's good nerves because I want it so bad. But I'm just excited more than anything, you know? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to even win your country, let alone being here at Miss Universe. And I'm so, so proud of all the hard work that I put into being here and how I presented myself. You know, nothing is perfect. Obviously, there's lots of things I wish I could have been a bit more in control of coming to Miss Universe, but I just have to submit to the universe and know that I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm doing it with the biggest Canadian smile, and I'm just so excited. I don't think there's any other word to explain it other than excitement. I'm just so ready to grace the stage. It's been years and years and years of mental manifestation and motivation and hard work, and I'm just so ready
Well,
to
that's
finally
amazing.
showcase that on
That's
stage.
amazing. That's what we want to hear. And I want to reiterate to you that as pageant bloggers and fans that are watching this live right now, none of us are experts. We only basically release what we think is, you know, what the organization might align with. But at the end of the day, all of these contestants come there. We are not there 100%. We only go by previous experience, how much you put out there, your social media following, and what the organization thinks is gonna like what we think they're gonna do. But it's never, you know, it's never anything personal against the girls, at least from my perspective. And obviously,
Yeah.
Madison, you would have never experienced that with me on my hot picks because you're always on them, right? You're like, yeah, I don't even need to look at Andrew's hot picks. I'll be on it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is like fans, you know, pageant fans and pageant bloggers, they release these hot picks just to make it exciting. But we never know, like from my perspective at least,
Yeah.
I never know what's gonna happen. I predict and I predict and I release these lists, and sometimes my ideals parallel with the organization's, you know, mind. I'm good at that. But I also have been really off many times completely, right? So as a contestant going in, the best thing that you can do is just to be yourself, like I said earlier, right? That's the most
Yeah.
important thing. Because the way you want to win this crown is by being Madison Kvaltin and not anybody else, right?
100%.
So
I couldn't
I'm
agree
so
more.
glad to hear that you are just content with what you have and you're just ready to showcase. Um, I've followed your journey again, and I'm going to repeat this. I've followed your entire journey from, you know, intercontinental to now, and just the way you have bloomed into this mature, very well spoken, like elegant woman. Like you're even more elegant than you were at Miss International, and that was just a year ago, right? And you were really sexy the first time you competed, or when you were first runner up to Amelia. You're really sexy. I'm like, oh wow. But
Yeah.
then when you went to Miss International, I was like, holy crap, that was like a year of preparation, and she really, really embodied the kind of woman that they were looking for. And now here we are again at Miss Universe, and you've once again adapted to your, you know, surroundings, and you are representing Canada so well. So I want you to know, like, on
Oh,
behalf of
thank
all of the
you.
Canadian fans, and I speak for a lot of our people, right? Because I'm one of the only pages that cover Canadian pageantry, aside from Canadian Beauties, who is amazing as well. I love them.
Yeah.
We are so proud of you. Like, no joke. I get together with a lot of the girls that you've already competed with in BC, and they're just so excited for you. You know, the Arshes of the world and the Jessicas of the world. We just got together the other night and we were talking about how incredibly well you are doing and how they want to see you like back into the top five. So we are so proud of you. Like this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live before the prelims. I wanted to first of all tell you in person that like you are doing everything that you can and you are 100% standing out. Like I see it and I want you to have that boost of
Thank
confidence going
you.
in. All of your people, all of the Canadians are really all about you and your chances because we are so excited for you. Right? So keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in
Oh,
mind.
thank you.
You're doing
Thank
such a phenomenal
you.
job. Like we
Oh,
couldn't even ask for a better representative. I love
that
Jessica, you know that, and I've told you that many times. She was your first runner up. I
yeah.
love her, but when we were kind of like talking about it, we're just like, she said, if I'm gonna lose to anybody, it's gonna be Madison. So
No, I thank you so much for that. That truly means the world because yeah, coming here is it's a different experience compared
right,
to the girls that come from these bigger countries, bigger fan bases.